a few years ago, a study was done. It's mentally healthy to tell the truth. It's physically healthy to tell the truth. I'm sure there are elders that are saying, it's about time they figured that out. This is a piece I wrote about telling the truth. It's called Waking That Sleeping Dog.
First of all, I'd like to thank our Creator for this day. And thank each and every one of you for taking this breath of time out of your life to witness this day today. We're thanking you for your presence here. Thanking you for your support to each and every one that has come out to see this beginning of this journey. It's an honor to be with my brother on another voyage, another journey. We've made 3 runs during the 9/11 journey. We brought one to New York, we brought a pole to Shanksville, and one to the Pentagon. But I want to sincerely thank the support of each and every one of you, from the youngest to the oldest here. I'd like to turn this over to our Chief Sialik.
Now, siam nostalgia, siam nostalmo, nostalo, pizza, nostalo, gasla, tia, squile, siam nostalgia, siam. So it's an ohilo, quinasanat, patula, tia, squile, let's a sky, it's a nostalgia, tia, squile, siam. The Arkansas on that's all kiwi, what's a nostalgia. Nostalgia, that's it's China PS files here. It's China, that's Quanadatsa tango katsa kwelmo kiitsa kwalanitam. Sa tango sa cows almost katsa kwelmo kiitsa kwalanitam. It's a tan, that's a all mucks. The Atkinson son of the Esqualcium, Sayatson Plutza, that's a Untala, that's a Unstite, that's a Staja, Stite. My dear people, friends, relatives, elders, a few words today of appreciation. Hands go up to each and every one of you for being here today, helping the relatives here on their journey, making a statement of how we feel about protecting Mother Earth. We all have those same feelings here today, to protect the Mother Earth. We are few, but we are growing in numbers for helping protect the Mother Earth. If we don't take a stand, nobody's going to take a stand. The work that the relatives here are doing are making awareness to our problem with the coal train that we have coming, trying to come to our area. These things are all a concern to each and every one of us. We have concerns over our environment because with the recent disaster in Canada, it's also going to affect each and every one of us. It's already happening to us, all of us. The skin is falling off the salmon. 4 years, what effect is that going to have on the salmon? Many tribes and nations already, and our neighboring tribes in Canada, the environment is severely destroyed already. Even within our United States, the Devalming River, for example, is another one. We need to help clean up all of these things and protect what we have. Otherwise, we're all going to be gone. The only thing is that I can say, I heard one of my elder speakers say at one time, I'll quote him, he says, "White man beware when we start to die, you're next." And the food source that is affecting us right now, it's going to start happening soon, unless we do something about it. Just a few words of appreciation to each and every one of you for supporting what's going on here today, because it's an important issue to each and every one of us. With that, Akansasan at Sahashka, Sayat Simtlatsati and Aqualia, Hashka Panasamat Castle, the Style,
At this time, we'd like to call Stephanie Buffin forward.
I'm sorry, we're going to have Fred Lane read a letter from the chairman first tonight.
Okay, Fred.
Now siyama nishchalacha. So hila kunasanatacho tiakaya siyama nishchalacha. Just raise my hands to each and every one of you that has gathered here today. Couldn't thank you enough on behalf of all of us here at Lummi Nation, from the youngest to the oldest. My heart is just really glad to see each and every one of you, new friends, old friends. Just a few words. I want to thank Chief Salih for sharing those beautiful words. I'd like to also give great thanks to the House of Tears carvers, my brother Jewel. This will be my 5th journey traveling with Jewel and Doug and Kurt and the team. It's so good to see each and every one of you here. I'm really, really thankful. But at this time, I'd like to read a letter on behalf of our chairman, Tim Ballou. For generations, tribal peoples have witnessed the impact of faceless persons, corporations on the lands, water, air, and human and environmental health. Though at times consulted, we have not been heard as a real voice in defending our traditional homeland and territories. Instead, we have seen the degradation of our land and water, our traditional foods and medicines, and the health of our people. The land and other members of the affiliated, the Lummi and the other members of the affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians and the Coast Salish gathered now face the battle of our lives. Devastating proposals that would bring coal by rail from Montana and Wyoming to the West Coast for export overseas. Indeed, the Cherry Point, in our language, Quichiacan, proposal poses an unprecedented ecological, cultural, socio-economic threat to Pacific Northwest tribes. Quichiacan, the place of the mink, is a 35-year-old village site where many of our ancestors lived and made their final resting places. Today, 60% of Lummi have direct ancestral ties to this site. Around it, the Salish Sea supports a Lummi fishing fleet that includes 450 vessels and over 1,000 tribal members. Coal exports threaten all of this. We fear the desecration of Cherry Point, the first archaeological site to be placed on the Washington State Register of Historical Places. We wonder how Salish Sea fisheries, already impacted by the decades of pollution and global warming, will respond to the toxic runoff from the water needed for coal piles stored on the site. How will Bellingham's recreational and commercial boaters navigate when more than 400 Cape-sized ships, each 1,000 feet long, depart Cherry Point each year, bearing individual loads of 287,000 tons of coal? What will happen to the region's air quality as coal trains bring dust and diesel pollution? And of course, any coal burned overseas will come home to our state as mercury pollution in our fish. Already, coal exports officials have shown breathtaking disrespect for our heritage. To save time and boost profits, Pacific International Terminals bulldozed what they knew to be a registered archaeological site and drained our wetlands without a permit. This proposal is not based on economic necessity. The inflated number of jobs promised is an old story, one filled with promises made and promises broken. At the end of the day, there will be far fewer jobs created and the many sustainable ones lost or compromised. The defeat of this madness is our Aboriginal duty as First Americans, but it also speaks to the collective interests of all citizens, most importantly as members of the human family who are part of, not masters over, the creation. But this is a new day. To those who would sacrifice the way of life of all our peoples of the Pacific Northwest, we say, take notice. You will not win this battle. Enough is enough. summer's proposed changes to the Gateway Pacific Terminal site design are beside the point and outside a larger truth. The impacts cannot be mitigated. We will stop the development of the export terminal and put in its place a plan that honors our shared responsibility to the land and the waters of Huchican and all our relations. In late August, Lummi Tribal members will begin a journey from South Dakota to the Salish Sea and north to Alberta, Canada, stopping with many of the tribal and non-tribal communities whose lives unwillingly intersect with the paths of coal exports and tar sands. We will carry with us a 19-foot totem pole that brings to mind our shared responsibility for the lands, the waters, and the people who face environmental and cultural devastation from fossil fuel megaprojects. We travel in honor of the late leader and guiding light of the late Billy Frank Jr., who would remind us of the larger truth that we are the stewards placed here to live with respect for our shared sacred obligation to the creation, the plants, and the animals, the peoples, and all our relations. He guides us still. Our commitment to place to each other unites us as one people, one voice, to call out to others who understand that our shared responsibility is to leave a better, more bountiful world for those who follow. All our relations, Chairman Tim. I'm so thankful. I'm so honored to be traveling with the journey. We will have. I'll be updating what we're on the Lummi Nation site, and we will be posting as much as we can when we travel to the different sites. But for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Freddie Lane. My traditional name is Sulcata. I also at this time would like to thank Sulcanum, my cousin, for being here, being a support. Again, Haishka, Siyama Nishchalacha, love each and every one of you. Osian.
Can we have Stephanie come forward?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Chief. Good morning, elected officials of Lummi. Good morning, House of Tears Carvers. It's an honor for me to be here with each and every one of you. And what I just put on this beautiful piece of carved wood is water from the San Juan Islands that originated here during a sacred water ceremony in 2010 with Dr. Imono. And the place where that water ceremony happened, where some of you probably participated, is where members of Lummi Youth collected this water this past Friday and delivered it out to the islands and shared words and songs and dances. And the chief did a blessing for our community to give us strength in this battle that is our battle, that is our shared battle to protect our waters, our fish, our orca, everything that combines all of us. When I look at this water intermingled with sand from your shores here at Lummi, from the San Juan Islands, I look at it, each and every one of us. That sand is gray, that sand is black, that sand is white, that sand intermingles, just like all of us today that are intermingling, that are strengthening ourselves so that we can all be strong in the biggest battle of our lives against fossil fuel exports through these shores and through our waters. This water, we are re-gifting back to you to take to the Missouri River. This water represents everything that unites all of us here in the Salish Sea. And I'd like to offer this water to hear all of the words, all of our intentions today. And with the closing blessing, if one could charge that water and gift it back to you, I think it would give us all strength. And with that, I thank you. I thank each and every one of you for coming today. My hands are up to you. Thank you.
We have a slight modification in the agenda. I'd like to ask Councilman Jay Julius and Councilman Johnny Felix to step forward. These two councilmen are the inspiration for a lot of what we do.
Ed Squishiel, good morning. Traditional name, Slailton, Watatlam, Jay Julius. I just first of all want to thank everyone up here, Chief, Swokana, Jewel. Thank all of you for being here, and thank you for your hard work that you put in over the last couple of years. It's been a tireless battle for many of us. Lots of sleepless nights, and I really want to take this time also to thank the staff and the individuals warrioring up and doing the research and keeping an eye on what these corporations, these faceless entities are doing behind our back or without our knowledge. Because without the staff and the hard work and research of not only our staff, but there are many other groups out there, nonprofits, who do a lot of work, and we're so grateful for that. And I just want to wish these guys well on their journey, thank them for the time they're taking out of their lives to go on this journey, to do the work, this work, not only for us and for Lummi Nation, but for all of you and all of Whatcom County, and beyond that. It is beyond that, because you can't replace water. You can't replace the destruction that could potentially take place inside the Salish Sea and the Pacific Ocean with what is being proposed here. It's so much more than what the average individual realizes this proposal is. It's not just tax dollars and jobs like they paint it to the public to be. They don't educate us on the destruction that'll take place. And we've witnessed that over the last 40 years with industry. Today there's a 99% diversion rate going to Canada. They're going around us and going up the backside, and we're only seeing 1% of the salmon. And we don't know why, but the water is warmer out there. It shows on the GPS as the temperature. Why the temperature's up? Yeah, there's been a lot of sunshine, but you know, there's a lot that has taken place with what took place in Bellingham Bay with Georgia Pacific, the destruction on Bellingham Bay. When Inslee was out a couple of weeks ago, he talked about 30% acidification in Bellingham Bay. Yeah, it looks nice and clean, but many don't realize the damage that has been done today. So my hands go up to each and every one of you, to those of you going on the journey, those of you who have been putting in the work, not just for yourself, but for the future of the children. Thinking 7 generations down the road, that's what this is all about. Because if we stand and do nothing, What does that look like 100 years from now? Shame on us. So my hands go up to each and every one of you, and I want to thank you guys for taking your time to go on this trip.
I'd like to call up Matt Petrini from Resources, and those folks with the signs, can we hold them up occasionally and get some pictures of it? Thank you.
We're going to be real quick. I just want to take the time to thank everybody for coming, to thank the leaders of the Lummi Nation for hosting us and for teaching us so much over these last 3 or 4 years. It's been really incredible to learn as we work together on this battle, and there's just no other greater experience. I know it's been an incredibly rewarding experience in my life, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of the people here to say it's been a rewarding experience. And I mean, if there's one good thing that we can say comes from these terrible proposals to try and export coal, to try and ship more oil through our waterways, through our Puget Sound, it's this coming together of our community. For us to actually relate to each other and to learn from each other and work with each other in this powerful and world-changing way, I think is the only thing that ultimately is going to save this planet. So I really appreciate that. For all he has taught us these past 2 or 3 years, and all he's taught all of our people here in our community for as long as he's been alive. And thanks to Kanan for his music. It's really beautiful. Thank you for doing that. Jay Julius and Freddie Lane and other leaders of the Lummi Nation who are here tonight, this afternoon, this morning. It's still light for me, maybe. that are here to bless this totem pole and to send off this journey. And of course to Jewel James for all of your leadership. It's really amazing. There's so much work that you've done, to bring our communities together, to unite us behind this common cause, to make the moral case against this trial. We cannot do this without all of that work, and it's really been incredible. I've learned so much every time you speak, and I'm really glad that you're part of our community. It's really important. Thank you. I want to thank the other organizations that help to bring everybody out here today and that are helping all over the region to try and promote the Totem Pole Journey. The Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship and the Congregations of Unitarians. All the various faith denominations that are signing on to the letter against coal. The Episcopalians, the United Disciples of Christ, or the United Church of Christ and the Disciples of Christ, the Evangelical Christian, or the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, who also helped to promote their local congregation. Echoes helped to promote this journey, and I really appreciate them as well for all of their work. This is a new thing. A lot of these faith congregations have not previously taken a stand on these proposals, and it's critical that they do because this is a moral case that we have to make. This is about creation. This is about our duty to our Creator, and we ultimately have to uphold that duty. And finally, I also want to thank the students from Renewable Energy for their work in helping to promote this journey and to help build relationships between our communities. So thank you all for coming today. It's really inspiring to see you here, and I'm so glad to be able to stand with you and to stand with the Lummi Nation. Thank you.
The flute came to me in a dream. My late daughter really loved me to play the flute, and I just put it away when I lost her and lost my son. I carve in their memory. They were Shimshan Lummi, and I'm proud that I have my Alaskan elder here with me. The cow, head raven, is what his name means. He comes from a line of warrior chief and carver, master carver line of Alaska. Fred Simpson's been with us. He works with me on the House of Tears Carvers. He's worked with my brother Doug for 25 years on making coffins for our community. I see Talia back there. She's one of our House of Tears painters. We watched her grow up. She was a little middle school girl painting with us. Now she's got her master's. We're really proud of some of our House of Tears youth. Several of them are getting their BAs or master's degrees. All straight, doing good. I think a lot of hard work brings prayers, and I think it impacts the children. I'm glad the water was brought. I'm glad Emoto's name was brought up. Dr. Emoto, if you haven't looked his name up, look him up, E-M-O-T-O, on the power of water. Our people have always taught us, be careful when you look at people and what you think. You may hurt them. And if you don't know what type of power they have, they could hurt you. It's a teaching about the power of thought. But Dr. Emoto, he teaches these people that you can gather around those waters and pray, and the waters were healed. I remember when I was looking at his work, where he showed a picture of the earth to the water, and it formed the crystals of love. That tells you something. It's amazing. Water is looking at you. Water wants you to appreciate it. My brother was talking about an elder in Elwha. She had a vision. She said there was a real slow black cloud coming from the east. And it's killing people so slow that they don't realize they're dying, and the hospitals can't do anything for them because of the death it brings. Now, many of our elders are isolated. They don't know what's going on in the larger world. Just like our children, it's up to us to stand up and say, we're protecting them, because the prior generation taught us, each and every one of us come from somebody. At one time we were Mother Earth people, all of us, red, black, white, and yellow, lived with the earth. And we had teachings and love and respect for the women because of the sacred Mother Earth. Now we live in a world where the United Nations, the United States, the state of Washington, the Lummi Nation, and all of your counties and cities have to enact laws to let the men know it's illegal to beat your wife. It's illegal to hurt your children. That tells you who we are as a society. That's why we need the interfaith community standing up and helping us, because we have to reverse the teachings. We're driving down to give a speech in Seattle about this coal and this oil. And we're looking at the Facebook about the silver mine and the Fraser River and how the people upriver it. And Lillooet could not harvest their fish because the skin was peeling off. Arsenic, mercury, the billionaire living in his home. Is he going to repair it? Who's going to fix the river? Can you fix it? How long will it be on the bottom? How many years of salmon will die? Cycle after cycle. I'm sorry, but I just started crying. My wife was with me. I said, what about our people? That's all we have. Most of these families out here, that's all they got. It's only a few dollars that they live on. And now they'll have nothing. Just like the people upriver. Several tribes depend on our Sockeye and Pink, the Makahs, the 3 Klallam tribes, and the Sockeye tribes. They'll have nothing. There's nothing in the river. We're told we can't produce hatchery because the sportsmen want the thrill of the wild stock. So we can't feed our children so that they can have their thrill. We live in a world that's gone crazy. They're fracking and destroying the water systems of whole states. Half of Texas doesn't have water. They're fracking in New Jersey and Florida, and the scientists say, don't worry about it. We're just cracking the earth open. The scientists said that the nuclear plants are good, they're okay, they're designed well. But Chernobyl and Fukushima tell us otherwise. A media blackout. Our chief picks up bamboo from the last tsunami just on our island out here. They can't contain the water from Fukushima. It's killing everything. All around us, the starfish are dying and the harbor seals have no babies. Millions and millions of sea creatures washing upon the western shores. They said the super tankers are safe until Valdez hit. Now they're going to run these tanks right through the inlet, right through the islands, Aleutian Islands. Lucy London's on our journey. She's a painter. They're from that village right there where those super tankers are going to go by. 10 miles wide and shallow. Just south of that in the Gulf of Alaska is the nursery of all the salmon of the Pacific. One ship and it's all dead. The Fraser's dead. We're polluting our water, we're polluting our air, we're polluting our land, and the scientists say they have the science that says it's okay. Corporations know that millions of scientists are for hire every year, coming out of the universities. I'm sorry, but they're saying it's okay. It's not okay. The Missouri's dead. What are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to form alliances. That's why we're so proud when people like Sierra Club, Wildlife Federation, and the interfaith community and resources all come forward to sit at the same table. It's too easy to think that we're here all alone. We're not alone. We have a duty to give voice to those that can't speak for themselves. Last year, when we left, a song came from the elders on the other side, from Cherry Point, those villages. And so when we left last year, we sang that song to remember the teachings of our elders. They don't want to be forgotten. They gave us the Mother Earth teachings. This is your mother's heartbeat. It's the first song you ever heard. It's the one you should love until yours stops. Our people teach that your first breath is sacred and your last breath is sacred. What you do in between is how you're measured as a man or a woman on earth. We just hope that we can all continue to do good. We're all just human beings. We have flaws. We hurt, we doubt, we fear, we cry, and we alienate ourselves from the rest. But you have to come out of your home like you did today to show each other you're not alone, because through you is a sacred moment. That's what our elder from Vancouver Island told us. You remember, those totem poles aren't sacred. It's the people gathering that makes the sacred. When they come together like that, that's what you're doing. You're gathering the people for a sacred moment. And so, we thank our elders from Vancouver Island for giving us those teachings. Here's a song from the elders on the other side.
The totem pole has a snake coming up, winding up. Sign language from Indian countries, when you go up like this, it means spirit. Spirit sacred. Winding down is crazy. So the snake was an earth symbol before it got turned into an evil symbol. It just showed the power of the earth. It's just another creation, another child of God. On the dress of the female carved are 4 warriors. Warrior and up, guardians, protecting the female power. On her stomach or the womb is a fetus carved. The next generation is coming. She's got her hands up. And on top is a child, a separate piece that will be added. It's 2 feet by 6 feet. It's a youth. It is holding a turtle. The turtle is also a Mother Earth symbol. This youth, whether it's male or female, has embraced the teachings of the Mother Earth. And so the mother is offering this child up. It's ready for this generation. She's given it up because it has the teachings. And that's what we want our children to have. Teachings to live on their own. To have the power of reason and respect for each other and the world around them. And so we appreciate you coming out and supporting us. But we're just carvers, and we're just trying to find a way to help all of us get a voice now. We appreciate the Lummi Nation for standing up, because Lummi is a leader nation. The other nations wait for it to stand up when it's in its own territory, just as we respect them.
The next part of the agenda is going to be Reverend Charis Weathers, who's going to do a blessing, and she is going to say a few words inside, and then we'd like everyone to go out by the pole, and we'd like to ask the photographers James and Paul Anderson, wherever you are, to get some shots of this moment when you go out by the pole. And also I want to mention up here in these murals, this is Cherry Point before contact. So, Reverend?
Thank you. I lift my hands to you. I am privileged to be here today. Very privileged. It is an honor. I thank Chief, Lummi elders, leaders, the entire Lummi Nation. It is an honor to be here, and I honor you in this. I'd like to read portions of some letters from faith communities. The first one came in 1987. And it's titled, A Public Declaration to the Tribal Councils and Traditional Spiritual Leaders of the Indian and Eskimo Peoples of the Pacific Northwest. It starts, this is a formal apology on behalf of our churches for their long-standing participation in the destruction of traditional Native American spiritual practices. We call upon our people for recognition of and respect for your traditional ways of life and for protection of your sacred places and ceremonial objects. We have frequently been unconscious and insensitive and not come to your aid when you have been victimized by unjust federal policies and practices. In many other circumstances, we reflected the rampant racism and prejudice of the dominant culture with which we too willingly identified. We ask for your forgiveness and blessing. As the Creator continues to renew the earth, the plants, the animals, and all living things, we call upon the people of our denominations and fellowships to a commitment of mutual support in your efforts to reclaim and protect the legacy of your own traditional spiritual teachings. To that end, we pledge our support and assistance in upholding several tenets, one of which was access to and protection of sacred sites and public lands for ceremonial purposes. That was the 1987 letter. It was followed 10 years later by one in 1997, part of which reads this. We confess our lack of consciousness and our insensitivity to the integrity of native ways of life. We give thanks to a God who restores life from death, recovers identity when it is threatened, reclaims and protects the meaning of spirituality when it is dishonored. Because of our faith in a God of resurrection and rebirth and hope, God revealed in Jesus Christ, we make the following reaffirmations from the 1987 Apology: to honor and defend the rights of Native peoples to practice and participate in traditional ceremonies and rituals with the same protection offered all religions under the constitutions and public policies of the lands in which we live, to secure access to protection of sacred sites and public lands for ceremonial purposes, to respect the use of religious symbols for use in traditional ceremonies and rituals, to participate in the struggles to end political and economic injustice against tribal communities. And 17 years later, this month, a new letter has been drafted, part of which says, tribal leaders have asked us to keep our past promises and to stand with them in defense of their sacred lands and fishing rights. And so we call upon the Northwest Congressional Delegation and other elected officials, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Department of the Interior, and all people of goodwill to uphold the treaty rights of Native communities of the Northwest. We ask that all environmental and cultural harm to Native lands and peoples be considered in making public policy decisions about the mining, transport, and export of coal and other fossil fuels. As religious leaders, we call for the protection of the life we have been given and the earth we call home. Our greatest commandment is to love our neighbor as ourselves. In putting this ethic into action, we stand in solidarity with our Native neighbors to safeguard the traditional lands, waters, and sacred sites of their peoples from destruction. It is signed by leaders of 6 different faith communities, one of which is mine, I am glad to say. These letters remind us that there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of promises to be kept. Yesterday, I was helping to maintain a trail in Bellingham, and the person who was closest to me, my friend, accidentally disturbed a ground bee's nest. And she and I were both stung. It hurt. It still hurts today. And what I want for this totem pole journey is for this to hurt and to sting for those who have forgotten their promises and for those who need to make promises. Amen. We need this. We need this to be a journey that will allow people to honor what they have said they will do. And we need this to be a journey that will increase awareness of people needing to join in with promises that are actually carried out. I'm also aware that the bee that stung me lost its life in protection of its home. We need to honor and recognize all the life that has been lost so far, all the fish, all the birds, all the whales, all of the health of the soil, people. We need to honor the life of those who have gone before in protection and in unwitting death. We need to honor them. Billy Frank Jr., we honor him in this journey. The prayer of blessing that will happen near the totem pole, which I am unbelievably excited to see. I'm going to do in my own tradition, and in my own tradition we do a kind of a call and response with prayer. So at the end of a section of prayer, I will say a phrase that will trigger your mind to respond another phrase back. And the trigger phrase that I will say is, in your wisdom, great spirit. So when you hear me say, in your wisdom, great spirit, if you so are inclined, I welcome you to repeat back to everyone else, lead this journey on the good path. I will say, in your wisdom, great spirit. You will say, lead this journey on the good path. One more time. In your wisdom, great spirit. Lead this journey on the good path. And if it's okay, I would welcome people if they want to place hands on the totem pole. Is that okay? All right, awesome. Okay, so the next phase will happen outside.
Sure. One quick announcement. For those so inclined, we found out that we're a little bit short for the latter part of the journey. We have to get on the ferry. They're going to be going out to Friday Harbor, San Juan Island for a sunset ceremony to reach that site. So anyone that is so inclined, Stephanie? You stand up here, Stephanie, so they can see you up there.
Louder.
This is Stephanie.
They couldn't hear what you said.
This is Stephanie. For those that are so inclined, if you have any money you'd like to donate to the trip, we would appreciate it. Stephanie is the person to be collecting the money. If you have cash, that's great. If you have checks, you can make it out to LNSO. But we'd appreciate any donations. We're a little bit short to get on the ferry when we come back. We're going to be going to San Juan Island and across Canada. And when we get back, Jewel has already carved another totem pole that's going to be taken down to honor Billy Frank in October and November, located
Frank's Landing.
at Frank's Landing.
for your school.
That pole is already done. When we get back, we'll be doing that journey. So, those so inclined would like to donate some money. This is Stephanie, others. When you go outside, please gather around the pole so our photographers can get some good shots and hold the signs up. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
So we can get everybody in here. Can you move fairly close, fill in the holes? And you can go in the back as well. A few more people to come out.
If you want to go on the back, you
Yeah, move in, please. Looks like a few more coming out. Come on out, everybody, please, and move to the back and to the tight to the sides. Okay, it looks like we ought to get Jewel in here, I think, don't you? I went on the journey last year. My name's Paul Anderson, and I photographed it. And Jewel was always the last one to get in the picture. Hey, Jewel, we need you in here, buddy.
Yeah, you're ready.
Reverend, back here. Oh, stand down next to the Reverend. And look up here, Joel. Yep. Now, I'll get my camera out. Okay, everybody. Hold your signs up if you got them. This is a great looking site. And speaking from last year, from going on the journey last year, it really means a lot to everybody going this year that all of you showed up. So, Tishka.
Let's have a moment of silence for all those that have been sick due to environmental contamination or natural disaster due to man-made activities. Remember up in Oso, that slide, logging. We harm the environment in many ways, and other people pay the consequences. So we could have a moment of silence for their soul.
Creator, we come as your weak ones. We ask in a good way for you to go with this journey of the healing pole, that those who go with it might travel well this journey before them. In your wisdom, Great Spirit, lead this journey on the good path. We thank you, Creator, for this tree that had a nice life and now continues to give in its death and its rebirth as a gift to those in Alberta. We thank you that, Creator, you make all things good. In Genesis, you have made all things and you make them good. We honor the goodness of this tree, the goodness of those who have carved it. In your wisdom, Great Spirit,
Guide this journey on the good path.
Scripture tells us that the blind shall see and the deaf shall hear. We pray for that to happen on this journey. For those who are blind to the blight of the land and the people of the land, that their eyes shall be opened. That those who are deaf to the cries of Mother Earth will hear. And that they will change and they will work towards healing and restoration. In your wisdom, Great Spirit,
Guide us on the great path.
we ask, Creator, for the wisdom of prior generations to go with this journey, to go with this poll, to go with those who are on this journey. Give them wisdom, give them courage, and give them your spirit in